welcome ladies and gents. This is a funny video. I didn't think this would cause as much of a stir as it has. Because Quentin Tarantino's statement here, saying that Marvel actors aren't movie stars, Captain America is the star, not Chris Evans, is true. That's objectively true. No one is going to watch Captain America initially for Chris Evans. They're going to watch it for the character. But of course, people have to jump in and basically call everyone racist, which is Shang-Chi's Simu Liu. That guy needs to get the f*** off Twitter, honestly. It's like cancer on his brain or something. It's madness. But let's get into the meat of what was actually said. Okay, because I don't think it was that bad. I actually don't think it was that bad. So we have Tarantino's statements here, and he was on Two Bears, One Cave podcast. So he says, part of the Marvelization of Hollywood is you have all these actors who have become famous playing these characters. Now that's not everyone, obviously, but they're not movie stars, right? Captain America is the star, or Thor is the star. I mean, I'm not the first person to say that. I think that's been said a zillion times. But it's like, it's these franchise characters that become a star. Now, Tarantino, it says about Captain America being the star, not Chris Evans. He says, I'm not even putting them down, frankly, to tell you the truth, the director said earlier about movie stars no longer existing in bulk. He says, but this is one of the legacy of Marvelization of Hollywood movies. And he would also clarify in the interview that he does not hate Marvel. So he's not being an arsehole. This is just looking at it objectively and going, well, most people just go to watch the characters, not the movie, which is true. Because movies of the past, you would go to watch the movie star. Movie stars were a thing. They were a very real thing. You'd get... star power was huge. And it was what you used to sell a movie. Now you don't. Because the age of the movie star is over. The age of the director star is almost over. There's very few of them. Now, obviously, there's outliers to this rule, but generally. But he said, look, I used to collect Marvel comics like crazy when I was a kid. There's an aspect that if these movies were coming out when I was in my 20s, I would totally be fucking happy and totally love them. I mean, they wouldn't be the only movies being made. They would be those movies amongst other movies. But, I'm almost 60, so yeah, no, I'm not quite as excited about them. My only axe to grind against them is they're the only things that seem to be made, he added. And they're the only things that seem to generate any kind of excitement amongst the fan base or even for the studio making them. That's what they're excited about. And so it's just the fact that they are the entire representation of this era of movies right now. There's not really much room for anything else. That's my problem. I agree. I don't think there's anything bad about what he said. I think those statements are objectively true. I think what he is appealing to there is most people's understanding that Hollywood comes in peaks and troughs and has trends. I mean, there was a spaghetti western trend for God knows how many years, right? Now we're in the comic book movie trend. So we're getting this trend. It will die out, unfortunately. I'm sure for the studios, they won't be very happy with it, but it will die out. But he's appealing to this. He's saying that, there is a trend. Obviously, I'm not in that sort of fan base age bracket at this point in time, so it doesn't massively appeal to me. But if I was, then I can see why, and sure. And he's also saying something which is, again, objectively true. He's saying nothing else really gets made. And it's true, nothing really does get made. Very few movie studios are taking risks on things now. And that's a shame. And the era of the auteur movie director is quite over. But of course, dipshit Simu Liu jumps in, making statements which are incredibly ignorant, by the way. Very, very ignorant. Such a dumbass. And he says, if the only gatekeepers to movie stardom came from Tarantino and Scorsese, I would never have had the opportunity to lead a $400 million plus movie. I'm in awe of their filmmaking genius. They are transcendent auteurs, but they don't get to point their nose at me or anyone. No movie studio is or ever will be perfect, but I'm proud to work with one that has made sustained efforts to improve diversity on screen by creating heroes that empower and inspire people of all communities everywhere. I love the Golden Age too, but it was white as hell. You're responding to Quentin Tarantino about movies being white as hell and there not being much diversity in them. Bruh. Bruh. Do I have to sit there and list off all of his movies? We don't have to point to Samuel L. Jackson, for goodness sake. Star of many a Quentin Tarantino movie. We're going to have to look at Kill Bill. Pretty good representation across the board. Fucking hell, Simu Liu. You're such an idiot. You are so dumb. And Simu Liu perfectly encapsulates right here why the movie star is dying. Because they have instant access to a captive audience where they can just spiel out their thoughts. And believe it or not, they're not paid for their thoughts. They're paid to pretend to be someone else. Sure, it might be a skill, but they're not, as evidenced here, the most intellectual prowess on the planet. The actors are not that. Oh, goodness me. Such an incredibly ignorant statement. Oh, I love the Golden Age too, but it was white as hell. Bro, you're talking to Quentin Tarantino? You idiot. You absolute idiot. God. Also, this guy's statements are incredibly false from previous anyway. You know, he's talking about he's one of the only Asian stars or all this nonsense. Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan. I mean, do these people even exist to you? Mr. Lee? Jesus. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Quentin Tarantino's right. He's objectively right. And if you disagree, I'd love to know why. Most people didn't know who Chris Evans was before Captain America. They might go now to watch him as Captain America, but that wasn't the case. And it's not going to be for the majority of the audience either. Quentin Tarantino, objectively right.